All right, you want the update? Get your tweets ready. Steph and Melt will both be out the next 2 games, and then they'll both be reevaluated on Thursday, Friday. Wiggins is questionable, lower back strain tomorrow.
All things considered, with Steph's diagnosis, just what was the reaction internally, and how optimistic you feel about just getting through these next?
Yeah, the MRI was positive or negative, however, whatever, but it was good, whatever. So that's the main thing. Is not significant damage. So, like I said, he'll miss the next couple games, and then we'll see where we are.
You guys have been so high on your depth so far through the season. Just how important is it having that depth right now with Steph, D'Anthony, and possibly Wiggins?
Yep. So if we're without all 3, then we got 3 guys ready to go. So, like I said, I think it's the strength of this roster. But now we got to go back it up, and I'm excited to give these guys on the bench more opportunity.
Steve, was there anything that happened with Andrew last night?
Anything that
Like that injury to the back?
Andrew? No, just tightened up on him.
Can this also be an opportunity to, you use so many different starting lineups through the preseason, just, again, tease with those different combinations and just kind of work with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the early part of the season, and so we're still learning our team, and we'll see some different combinations out there. But that was part of the idea in preseason, was to get a look at as many combinations as we could, and so I don't even know who I'm going to start tomorrow. Right now, I just found out the news from Rick on the injuries, so we got to figure that out over the next 24 hours or so.
Without Steph and Melt, what does this mean for BP, the opportunity that he could have?
It means more playing time, for sure, and for other guys as well. So I'm excited to give those guys more chances.
How do you think BP has been doing with that mask on? It looks like it might be affecting his shot a little bit, but he would never want to give that excuse. But have you seen the way that he has to look at the floor and distribute, or even with his own shot? Do you think it's bothering him?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him that, but he's playing well. The shot hasn't gone in, but he's playing well, and he's a tough-minded guy. So he's, like you said, he's not going to use it as an excuse. That's for sure.
Steve, with Steph out and Melt out, what does your point guard rotation even look like right now? You don't know who you're going to start, but what does it even look like? What are your options there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, BP will handle the ball quite a bit. Kyle Anderson can play point forward. Draymond can play point forward. We have a lot of guys who can handle the ball. Pat will most likely activate Pat tomorrow for an additional ball handler, and we'll go from there.
You didn't mention Draymond, so I'm assuming Draymond's okay.
I'm sorry?
Draymond, is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
Ice in the knee.
Yeah.
How big does his role, maybe leadership-wise, step up when a guy like Steph is out? How much do you rely on Draymond to kind of...
Yeah. Draymond is, I've always called him our heartbeat, barometer, however you want to phrase it. Draymond's approach and his energy is all crucial to our success.
What do you think of these baseball series, the back-to-back against the Pelicans? What is your take on playing a team 2 times in a row like this?
Yeah, it's a relatively new concept in the last 5 or 6 years, I guess, and it makes sense travel-wise. I don't think it's great for the fans, but I know why they incorporated it. Seems like we rarely get these on the road, but we've had a few at home, and we just play whenever they tell us to play, basically.
Steve, obviously, you'd love to blow out everybody like you did in the first two games, but did last night give you a chance to glean anything about your depth and your rotation when you have a tighter game and maybe certain scenarios that you obviously didn't?
Not so much rotation as execution. We knew the Clippers were going to be excellent defensively, and they put a lot of pressure on us. And the film was not pretty. The number of poor decisions and bad passes. And so that's on all of us, coaches included, because we've got to get to the point where we can execute against elite defenses and be confident and be fluid. And we're still in the early stages of the season. So I thought it was a great game for us to have to play, because it forces us now to learn how to execute better and to understand the importance of it.
You kind of answered big picture there, but just in the non-Steph minutes last night, how would you evaluate those? And in the fourth quarter, I mean, kept it pretty close and competitive.
The last night to me was not at all about the non-Steph minutes. It was just about kind of getting hit in the mouth and not responding well emotionally or execution-wise. And even with that, we cut it to 1 late. We had every chance to win. But when you watch the film and you see literally 10 or 12 possessions where you just give the ball away, you're not going to win that game. So that's the lesson.
I know. Oh, sorry. One more. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know the ankles were a big issue for Steph early in his career. Do you know how much of that is like a daily concern for him? Is he doing exercises with that?
He does.
Still?
Yeah, he works every day in the training room on strength and he wears his ankle braces every day. This is part of his entire career, so he's used to this.
Well, Steve, what do you think about Steph's ability to self-diagnose? You said right away it's either mild or moderate, but his ability to sort of know in an instant the scale.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he's got a lot of experience with ankle sprains and dealing with his ankles, so he knows his body better than anybody for sure. Thank you.
What were your first thoughts when you saw Steph exit a second time after rolling his ankle?
I was on the other side of the court. I didn't see what happened. I didn't see the replay until after the game. But obviously, when your best player goes down, you definitely feel some type of way for sure. But we got to step up in his absence.
This is a pretty obvious question, but I like to hear a player's perspective. What do you notice? What happens to the offense when Steph is unavailable? The spacing on the floor.
I mean, from a defensive perspective for the other team, it definitely gets tighter in there. But I think we've done a good job reiterating, especially today, what that spacing is supposed to look like and what it should have looked like last night. And I think the one thing I'm proud of most is our defense. It was really good last night, and it gave us a chance to win the game. And, we were down 1 with 3 minutes to go, so we clawed our way back. And offensively, we're going to figure it out. But I think most importantly, our defense was picking it up.
I guess to that point, to follow on that, what kind of confidence did that stretch that you guys had, that closing stretch give you to pull within 1 without Steph that you can apply moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, that's why we have, 12 guys that can play. Who's ever in the lineup and whoever's not, everybody can play and everybody knows our principles and what we're trying to get to out there. But just to see the fight and the resilience to get back in the game when we didn't have energy to start the game, it's a good sign.
What has your experience been like so far, wearing the mask during games?
Oh, I hate it. As a point guard, as a guy that's not that athletic, you use your eyes and your vision and your smarts to control the game. And sometimes I can't see out of it. Sometimes I can. So I just try to make do with it and make it work. Hopefully just a couple more weeks in it. But like I said, I think I impact the game more than just scoring the ball, fortunately. So I think the other things, especially defensively, have been good for me.
When you say you can't see out of it, is it condensation? Is it the sweat?
Yeah, so when I put it on like this, over time it starts to go like this, and now my eyes are up here. And so I can still see you, but it's fuzzier. So that's just how it is. And the peripheral is kind of the same way.
You guys...
Huh?
All about the easy solutions, huh? You guys have been really high on your depth through training camp and the preseason. So I guess, A, how important is that now to have that with definitely 2, possibly 3 guys out, but also without Steph, without Melton, your guard depth in particular has taken a hit. What type of responsibility does that put on your shoulders?
I'm excited. We did it a bunch last year with Steph and Chris being out some games, Clay and Chris being out some games. I train myself in the offseason to be ready to play 35 to 40 minutes on a given night. So I'm ready for that. I know Buddy's the same way. He's, fast, energetic, and in shape too. So, I know Steve can rely on me and Buddy to be out there as much as he needs us. But, guys like Lindy, guys like maybe Pat Spencer, Guy are going to get minutes, and they're ready for it.
And how much of an advantage is it now also to have guys like Kyle, guys like Draymond, who aren't guards, but people view them as ball handlers and as facilitators?
Makes it easy. Obviously, as a guard, if you're fighting pressure all night, playing 40 minutes, it does get tiring, bringing the ball up all the time. So to have that, those two guys kind of need probably split minutes. It makes it easier for us even when we're fully healthy.
When Steph's hurt, he's obviously very engaged. What can he provide from a teammate coaching perspective when he isn't on the floor?
Yeah, I think even when I sat out against LA with my broken nose, you see the game in a different lens when you're not playing and you're sitting on the sideline. So I know he does the same. And, he helps everybody with what he sees, and he sees the game in a different way than, everybody else sees it. And so especially last year when he wasn't playing, I was playing, I got a lot of minutes during that time, so he was able to kind of see what I was doing, and so I always ask him kind of what he sees when I come off the floor. And, he's always willing to give some advice.
And what are your thoughts on the baseball series, playing a team back-to-back like this?
I think it's cool. It's obviously, benefits them with travel purposes, playing 2 in Portland and now 2 here. I think Minnesota did that last year with us as well. So I wish we could get some of those, but we don't, unfortunately. But it's cool, and I think it's just kind of better for the NBA in general.
You got called for a block early last night and had a pretty lengthy talk with the ref. Did you glean anything from that or clarity on that?
It wasn't so much with the ref. It was more with Jacob, our guy who kind of makes the yes or no call with the video. And I feel like when I'm pretty adamant about a call, I think I got it right. And the refs came to me at halftime and told me it was a charge, that they got it wrong. So it was just more of a conversation with him about it. And, I think I know what I'm doing when it comes to taking a charge.
Brandon, you mentioned how your mask kind of slides up and down your face, but what does that affect most? Is it your shooting or what? Because I'm just kind of curious as to what it affects most.
I would say maybe my depth perception. I would say. I don't know if necessarily it's my shooting. Shooting the mid-range pretty well. I think maybe just my depth perception and my peripheral.
So that impact the 3 maybe because you're out there?
I don't think so. I don't like to give an excuse for why I'm missing or making shots. But, you can say it's a mask or it's not. At the end of the day, I got to wear it and I got to fight through it. So I'm going to figure it out.
How's the experience been playing with Buddy off the bench and the instant offense he's provided with the second unit?
Yeah, it's been fun. I think that group with me, Steph, Buddy, Gary, and Loon have been really good this year, or at least for the first 3 games. It's fun playing with them, especially Buddy. He's kind of just like Steph where he runs around and we just kind of find him. But just the presence he brings off the court, which people have said, how he kind of rallies everybody together and his energy constantly has been the best part about him.
Looney, we just got some of the injury updates. What do you think about a test of this team's depth heading into only Game 4 of the season?
I think it should be good for us. We talked about how deep our team is, and we get to see it early. You would hope to have your guys out there, and we're still trying to build our good habits and build our chemistry, but I feel like we're good enough to go out there and get some wins without our main guys, and hopefully we can do that tomorrow.
What kind of groove did you guys find down the stretch there? What was working in the last part of that fourth quarter last night?
I think we just upped our intensity. Steve talked about us matching their physicality at halftime, and I feel like down the stretch we was able to get a couple stops and run out, kind of play with our flow and our pace that we wanted to. I feel like that earlier in the game, I feel like we was playing kind of at their pace. I feel like James kind of controlled the flow of the game. But I think that second half we was able to, or down the stretch we was able to kind of play fast and play a little bit more free.
I guess just kind of drawing from experience playing without Steph before, what are the biggest keys to ensuring everything clicks when he's not out there?
It's going to start with our defense. If we're able to get stops, we're able to run, we'll be able to play the style that we want. Then we can't turn the ball over. We can't have those type of mistakes that he might, if he's out there, he might be able to overcome. But without him, we got to be able to make sure we execute our offense, make sure we're not as random and we're getting into our sets.
What have you noticed about Draymond and Trace playing alongside each other? How's that pairing working?
I think it's been good. I think they've been setting the tone for us defensively, especially with our rebounding and us getting stops, get out and run. Draymond's one of the best defenders in our league that we ever seen, and he's always plays well when he has another big with him out there. And I think he's been showing that for us on defense. We're gonna figure it out offensively. We always do. Once we get our, get our sets that we want to run with that group, but that group defensively can be something special. And I think our defense has been pretty good these first 2 games.
How do you see Draymond step up anytime Steph's out and Draymond's healthy to play? What kind of role does he play for you guys in this kind of situation?
In the past, he's always just being more vocal, being a bit more of a point guard. Steph kind of does a lot for us, getting us in our offense, and be able to kind of just play off of him. But when he's not out there, we got to get more organized, and Draymond kind of leads the charge in that. He makes sure we get in our sets. He knows who to get the ball. When a guy's got it rolling, how to find them and get them in their spots. So he kind of takes over more of that low when Steph's not out there.
What are your what are your thoughts on the baseball series, a back-to-back against the same team?
I feel like it's fun. It's cool, especially for us. We're at home and doing it, so it's always been a little bit more competitive that way. Kind of feel not like the playoffs, but it's kind of that same type of feel when you play a team back to back like that. Things get a little chippy, so it's a little bit more fun.
When you have like 3 guys that are out, meaning Steph and Melt and Wiggins is not questionable, how does that change? You guys have had this great vibe all along these past few weeks. How does that change like today's practice session, knowing that you're going to be a man or two, or at least a man or two down?
I don't think it changes the vibe of the team or the practice. These guys are still there. They're still bringing that same energy. They're still, there with us. So it doesn't change the vibe, but it just kind of changed each guy's responsibilities. We know everybody's going to play a little bit more. The lineups might be a little bit different. You might be playing with a group that you haven't played with before. So just coming in with a different level of focus and knowing that the game's going to flow a little bit different and be prepared for whatever happens. But the energy and the vibe's still been good. Even coming off a loss, it was a little down, but we was focused and more pissed off.
Yeah, and now the entire world knows how much Steph means to you guys on offense, but can you articulate what his absence does to your offensive system?
Yeah. Kind of changes everything that we do. We kind of the attention that he gets from the defensive other team kind of sets up our offense in the way that we play, all the slips and all the movement. And sometimes we just kind of play random and play kind of chaotic because that's where he thrives in. And we able to just we know if we just swing the ball, he's going to find a seam and get open, or we just play off him. I'm going to be open and I'm going to hit somebody on the backside for a 3 or something like that. So without him, all that kind of random stuff won't be there. So we got to make sure we execute our stuff and we're calling our sets and, we just kind of make sure we just execute.
How important is your screening? How important does that become when you're without 2 of your top ball handlers?
I think it's really important just to get our guys open, get them good looks. Terry's been on us about that, about our screening, being physical with our screens, and the better your screen is, probably the more open you're going to be. Without Steph and our top ball handlers, guys are going to probably pressure us a little bit more, trying to hound us. So we got to get our guards free and go from there.
How much do you guys value Dr. Rick Celebrini?
We value Rick a lot. He's been a guy here that for the last few years to make sure that we stay healthy, that we stay on the court. For me, he's been invaluable. I haven't missed a game in a long time, based off stuff that he's been helping me with, stuff getting us ready for the game, preparing our body, preparing our minds for the long season, long outcome. So he's been huge for our team, and he's been help for a lot of guys for their careers getting back on track and staying healthy. And we know that we have the best performance staff out there, and he's the head of that. So when guys get hurt, we don't never get worried. We know that they're going to be back soon and back ready to play.
What is his communication style? And for a player who's injured, how much does he take into mind, like, what the player wants? How much does he say, like, this is my medical opinion? Like, how much of a two-way street is there as he tries to help guys get back on the floor?
It's real two way. He's gonna give you his opinion, but he's also always open for dialogue. He's not just one way or highway. He's willing to work with guys. We got everybody in the NBA's been through a lot. They've been in a lot of different teams. They have a lot of different experience, and we know how our body works. And he's willing to work with us and hear our input and kind of build around that. And he's been great with communicating. He's also very honest and blunt. He'll tell you need to do this, and you haven't been doing what you're supposed to do. So this might why it would happen. So when you got that honesty and that trust, you kind of can go back and forth with each other, and that's comes with the best result.
Everybody talks about how much depth you guys have added, but how much has Stotts and Stackhouse added you guys? You guys have had some great assistants over the years, but what in particular about those two guys have you liked?
I like their communication style, the way that they coach. They're very direct, held everybody accountable from top to bottom. They're believers in what they bring to the table, and they convey it in a way that makes you believe and buy in. So they've been great additions to our team, and from day-to-day basis, it's been fun just getting coached by those guys, and the intensity and the energy they bring every practice has been fun.